Okay, so this is the greatest Royal Rumble recap and review. Just wrapped up, give or take about 15 minutes ago as I'm recording this. I'm going to try not to harp on this throughout the show, but unfortunately, again, I had streaming problems. I had to pogo around to like 4 different devices. It just kept going down. It caused me to miss a few matches. I promise I will not harp on this. I will try not to harp on this, but I do have to point out when it affected everything. Anyway, the first match was John Cena versus Triple H. It's actually the first time in 8 years the two faced each other in a one-on-one match. Kind of surprising. You would have thought it would have happened at some other point, but nope. I mean, that doesn't count tag matches or anything, just a one-on-one singles match. Funny thing happened at the beginning of this. The camera did not catch John Cena's entrance in full. They did like kind of the thing with the kids in the Cena colors. They're all doing the "you can't see me" pose. And they didn't catch it until just when Cena was entering, and so it looked really kind of clumsy. They had just focused on Triple H. Other than that, though, this was a pretty standard match. Nothing too inspiring. A lot of rest holds and sleeper holds and tests of strength and some counters of some back suplexes. Triple H had to hit a 5-knuckle shuffle on his own, and that was kind of interesting, but other than that, can't really say too much. And again, I missed the end of this match. Cena had Triple H in the STF. I assume he tapped out. All I know is that Cena won. So yeah, Cena won that match. Like I said, it was pretty pedestrian, not spectacular in any way, shape, or form. Okay, our next match is Cedric Alexander versus Kalisto for the Cruiserweight Championship. Kalisto basically tried to use an aerial attack while Alexander really countered a lot more with a lot of ground-based moves. There was some aerial from Alexander. He tried to go for a head scissors, but Kalisto actually cartwheeled out of it. Kalisto hit like a springboard somersault plancha to the outside of the ring. Alexander came back and hit a big drop kick. He locked Kalisto in a body scissors. Kalisto came in and hit the spike Karana for a 2 count. Alexander countered a move into a Michinoku driver for a 2 count. Kalisto hit a springboard Spanish fly from the top rope. Alexander kicked out of it. Kalisto went for the Salina del Sol, but Alexander managed to counter that into the lumbar check for the 3 count and the victory. This was a really good match. Probably overall, in terms of an actual match, this was maybe up there with the best matches of the night. There was maybe one more that was actually better than it. Anyway, I know the Cruiserweights are doing really good stuff on their show. Hopefully this means they'll actually draw up some interest again. Maybe they should just... I always waffle a bit on whether or not to incorporate them more into Raw or to just have them be on their own show and then have them work just pay-per-views. I think that would probably be a better idea. I don't know if they always need to be on the kickoff show match or they need to be on the show proper, but I think this proves that they can be good when need be. Okay, our next match is the Raw Tag Team Championship. Woken, Matt Hardy, and Bray Wyatt versus The Bar. Obviously, this is probably the most predictable match of the show because The Bar just got drafted to SmackDown, so it's hard to see them winning the Raw Tag Team Championships at that point. But, again, this was an alright match, pretty standard. Unfortunately, again, this is a match I wound up missing the end of because the stream went down again. All I know is Hardy and Wyatt won. Yeah, like I said, this was entirely predictable. The match itself was kind of so-so, so yeah. That's all I can really say about that. Okay, our fourth match is the United States Championship match, Jeff Hardy versus Jinder Mahal. Hardy was selling a knee injury throughout this match. I don't know if he's legit hurt or not, but he was limping around a lot very early on. But early on, Sunil Singh tripped Hardy as he was up on the ring apron. Hardy got back in, managed to go for a twist of fate on Mahal, but they countered that into a dual clothesline. Mahal went for a gut buster, but Hardy countered that into his basically double stomp leg drop. Hardy went for a whisper in the wind and missed it by a good foot. And Jinder did his best to still sell for it, and they said, like, oh, well, Hardy hit the ring with such impact that it must have shaken Jinder off his feet. Yeah, they kind of sour the rest of the match, unfortunately. Mahal went for the Colossus, but Hardy countered that into the Twist of Fate and followed it with the Swanton for the 3 count and the victory. And yeah, this did kind of set the tone for another match that would happen later, but we'll cover that when we get to it. Okay, our next match is a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos. The big Usos getting their rematch, and yeah, this was just a glorified squash. Rowan hit Jay with a pump handle backbreaker. Rowan got tossed into the ring post. This allowed Harper to blind tag and prevent Jay from tagging in Jimmy. But eventually Jimmy got the hot tag. The Usos hit a dual super kick on Harper. They hit a splash on Harper, but only got a 2 count. The Bludgeons then got in and hit the double powerbomb for the 3 count and the victory. So yeah, this was, like I said, another glorified squash match. Not too spectacular in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what they're going to be doing after this. I mean, I'm running on the guess that they're probably going to have another match at Backlash. Hopefully that one will maybe be a bit more interesting. After that, we have the Intercontinental Championship 4-way ladder match. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor versus The Miz versus Samoa Joe. Rollins, Miz, and Balor began pulling, were each trying to climb the ladder at one point, but only get pulled off. Miz tried to strike an alliance with Samoa Joe. It didn't really work. Joe just headbutted him. Joe started to climb the ladder, but he setting the ladder up in the corner, and it fell. He was setting it up in the corner like this, except it didn't stay up. It kind of teetered to the side and almost like landed on Seth Rollins' head. Let's see. After that, Balor hit a drop kick onto Joe on the ladder. Joe and Rollins and Balor did a Tower of Doom. Miz came in and hit the skull-crushing finale on Joe onto the ladder. Miz took both Rollins and Balor off the ladder. Balor was on the ladder first. Miz knocked him off. Then Rollins pulled Miz off. Then Miz pulled Rollins off, and then Balor pulled Rollins off again. Balor hit a coup de grace on Miz through another ladder. Balor was climbing towards the championship. Rollins got up and hit a springboard onto the ladder and climbed up, and he just managed to get his hand, and Rollins just got his hands on it as Balor was reaching for it to pull down the championship and retain. This was an okay match. Not a lot of really spectacular things, unfortunately. I mean, the ending was kind of cool, and I think it does set up good for a good, lengthy Balor-Rollins feud if they can follow through on that, but other than that, I can't really say much. Okay, our next match is the WWE Championship match, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I missed the beginning of this again due to the stream problems, sorry. Early on, though, Nakamura was taunting AJ. Styles fought out of an Explorer suplex and hit a face plant. Styles hit the Higurashi neckbreaker for a 2 count. Styles countered a knee strike into a calf crusher, but Nakamura got to the ropes. Nakamura caught Styles as he was going for a springboard move and set him up to the corner for a knee strike. Nakamura went for a cross arm breaker, but Styles rolled him into a pin predicament. Styles hit a big Pele kick. Styles went for the phenomenal forearm, but Nakamura dodged, and Styles had to avoid hitting the ref. This distracted the ref long enough for Nakamura to low blow Styles again. He then rolled Styles up into a small package, but AJ managed to just get his hand on the rope. Styles countered a Kinshasa with a forearm of his own. At this point, they brawled to the outside of the ring. Styles tackled Nakamura over one of the announce tables. He then tackled him into the timekeeper's area, and they fought, and there was eventually a double countout. Styles hit a running knee strike sending Nakamura over the ring barricade. He then sent him back into the ring, punched him a few more times. Nakamura rolled to try to walk, and eventually just kind of slunked away, and Styles let him go. Big disappointment again. Again, I think everyone's kind of hoping they were gonna, the last match was so underwhelming that this match was going to be better. Nakamura would probably finally win. But again, it seemed like they did not want to pull the trigger on this. And, we're stuck kind of spinning our wheels. Maybe it's because they have another pay-per-view in a week. 9 days. But yeah, this was a real off show. After that, we have the casket match, Undertaker and Rusev. First time in almost a decade the Undertaker's been in a casket match. His last one was against the Big Show in Survivor Series 2008. The last televised casket match was Kane versus Daniel Bryan on a SmackDown. I want to say just before the Royal Rumble. Anyway, early on, Undertaker wanted the casket open, and Rusev just flipped out and said he wouldn't get into the ring until the casket was closed. Rusev managed to get a few strikes early on. He celebrated prematurely, though. Taker wound up hitting the old school and tossed Rusev through the ropes and onto the casket. Taker tried to roll Rusev into the casket, but Aiden English blocked the lid. Rusev managed to fight back and locked on the Accolade briefly, called for the casket to open, but as he was doing so, Taker sat up, hit the chokeslam to both Rusev and English. He rolled Rusev in, he tombstone English, rolled him into the casket, and closed the lid on both of them. Yeah, no big shock. Again, another squash match. I was going to save this for the overall thoughts on the show, but I might as well say it now. Admittedly, I kind of had to follow little events on Twitter to try to keep track of what was going on as best as I could. And Cultaholic immediately opened up calling this a glorified house show, and that's exactly what this was. Just nothing to write home about. I guess there was hopes that there would eventually be a title change going on. No. I'm not counting the Raw tag team. That's vacated. That's not a title change. That's different. But, Anyway, the next match is the steel cage match for the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. To win, you could pin your opponent, make them submit, or escape the cage. Brock immediately opened by going to Suplex City. He then hit an F5. Reigns managed to come back and hit 3 Superman punches. Reigns tried to escape the cage, but Lesnar pulled him back in. Reigns came back and powered Lesnar off of the cage. Reigns hit 3 spears, only got a 2 count. Reigns tried to exit through the door, but Heyman slammed the door on Reigns' head. Got another F5 for a 2 count. Heyman then slid a chair into the ring. Reigns got to the chair first, though, and began hitting Lesnar with it. Reigns hit, I think it was another spear and went for a cover, but only got a 2 count. Reigns goes for another spear, sends Lesnar through the cage, and both men kind of land at the same time, except Lesnar's technically on the cage, and Reigns' feet actually hit the floor. And you could argue that Reigns would actually have a legitimate claim to the Universal Championship, but they seem to just say no, because Lesnar hit first, even though it was on the cage. That technically meant he left first, and thus he retains the championship. And now it is time for the 50-man Greatest Royal Rumble. The first entrant was Daniel Bryan. The second entrant was Dolph Ziggler. The third entrant was Sin Cara, who was immediately eliminated by Dolph Ziggler. The next entrant was Curtis Axel. The next entrant was Mark Henry, who immediately eliminated Curtis Axel. Mike Kanellis came in next. He was immediately eliminated by Henry. Hiroki Sumiya, a sumo wrestler, came out. He was eliminated by Henry. Victor from the Ascension came out, and Ziggler and Bryan eliminated Henry at that point. Kofi came out, and Victor was eliminated. Tony Nese came out next. Dash Wilder came next. Hornswoggle came out and eliminated Dash Wilder. Primo Colon came out. Hornswoggle was eliminated by Tony Nese. Xavier Woods came out. This is where my stream broke, so I didn't get a bit of what happened here. So unfortunately we missed Kofi's wild escape from being eliminated this time. Bo Dallas came out next. Kurt Angle came out and he eliminated Dallas and Primo Cologne. Scott Dawson came out as Angle eliminated Ziggler. Goldust came out. Then Connor from the Ascension came out. Then Elias came out. At some point, Kurt Angle got eliminated, and I don't know how. Again, the stream went down. Sorry, I know I'm bringing that up a lot, but I gotta mention it because that's how I saw it. Luke Gallows came out. Rhino came out. Drew Gulak came out. Tucker Knight from Heavy Machinery came out. Bobby Roode came out. Goldust and Dawson got eliminated at some point as Fandango came out. Then Chad Gable came out. Then Rey Mysterio came out. Rey eliminated Luke Gallows. Mojo Rawley came out. Rawley eliminated Fandango. Tyler Breeze came out. He got eliminated by Mojo. Big E came out and he eliminated Tucker Knight. Carl Anderson came out. Apollo Crews came out as Gable was eliminated at some point. Roderick Strong came out next. He eliminated Rhino. Randy Orton came out and he eliminated Carl Anderson. Heath Slater came out. Baba Tunde, a guy in NXT, came out. Baron Corbin came out as Rude and Roderick Strong were eliminated. And then we got the sad high point of the Rumble match. Titus O'Neil entered. He was running down to the ring as he hit the little part where the ramp ends and the ring flattens out. He tripped, he fell, and he just flew right under the ring apron and under the ring almost entirely. Just his feet were sticking out. I mean, it's all over social media right now. Like I said, it's one of those, sadly, it was like the high point of this Rumble. Dan Moffat came out. Then Braun Strowman came out. Baba Tunde and Moffat were eliminated. Ty Dillinger came out. He was soon eliminated. Curtis Hawkins came out. Orton, Corbin, Mysterio were eliminated. Bobby Lashley came out. Elias was eliminated. Curtis Hawkins was eliminated at another point too. Great Khali came out. He was eliminated rather quickly. Kevin Owens came out. Shane McMahon came out. Shelton Benjamin came out. And Big Cass came out. And then Y2J rounded everything out. So no one pulled a double duty on this show. That was kind of surprising. But after this, Jericho eliminated Shelton Benjamin. And then my stream went down again, so I missed a bunch of eliminations. Big Cass eliminated Daniel Bryan at some point. Owens got eliminated at some point. I didn't see that. Strowman eliminated Shane McMahon by throwing him from the top of the rope all the way through the announce table. At this left, Big Cass and Braun Strowman. Lashley got eliminated too. I didn't see that. So yeah, I have no idea how it got down to just Cass and Strowman, but it got down to Cass and Strowman. Strowman eliminated Cass to win the giant trophy and a big green belt and nothing else. Yeah, this, like I said, the Rumble was alright. I guess probably match of the night would go to Nakamura Styles, as it was at least the most that felt like a complete story. Personally, I would maybe put the Cruiserweight title match at a close second, but yeah, this was a glorified house show that really did not need to be a network special. This you could have done the Raw Tag Team Championships at Backlash. It probably would have worked better. Instead, now it's just this. I mean, again, maybe it's because they had to put it on another pay-per-view in 9 days, but if that's the case, maybe don't do the big show in Saudi Arabia at that point. Maybe shift it to a later date, see if, May was available. It's just, like I said, just kind of disappointing all around. You don't really need to watch this show at all. This show gets an F. Okay, so Sunday, the random trade review on Cravan, Mystery Man of the 20th Century comes out. See you all then. Hey guys, tired of me always talking about WWE and NXT? Want to see me cover something like, say, Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan, anything else? Check out my Patreon at Sleepy Time Cat Productions and see how you can help me expand my wrestling coverage.